Hey guys, welcome back to Herding Instincts. Like I said, I'm kind of really I had thresholds for you guys to do from the Clop to the this story and to the light novel that I realized I still haven't finished Volume 3, even though I think I only need to do 2 more chapters on that story. And I realized, wow, okay, I'm gonna say the Clop. I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of a leeway on that because that one was demonetized and that probably isn't being pushed as much because I said the S word on by my mistake on that one. But that's what happened. But Herding Instincts, come on, we're like 20 to 11 away from 300. Also, it was a weekend. I was just staring at the channel. I'm like, really? You guys aren't pushing these numbers that I expected you to? And I was like highly disappointed. I was like, what? Did I expect that? Anyways, I think I'm gonna have another update video. I think I uploaded it before, uploaded it after. I'm not sure what's gonna happen for that because right now, I think I mentioned this on. Not sure where. Not sure what channel either because I said I'm gonna have to create personas. So I'm Simply right now, and everything gaming wise / live stream wise is Bunny because that's what I don't want to be. Anyways, so right now. I'm just a reader, I guess, only a reader into the MLP fanfics, and we're starting to do light novels because I feel like that's interesting, and to me, it falls in the same level of nonsense that happens. Of course, they have more exposition, more world building over there compared to the fanfictions, and they're more higher quality, I want to say, depending on how you see it, and original material that isn't grabbing these characters and just remapping them to form your own story. That's one thing I want to mention about that. So I really have that going on over there. Just saying. Which reminds me, speaking about remapping stories, I know I had a Blue Sky, which was a Portal fanfiction. I'm debating on starting that up again, but I feel like that's gonna be after the Clop, after this story, and after No Game, No Life, just to see where the channel is. Because sadly, I would not want this is a side channel for me. I feel like you guys already know that since I'm not really focusing on it anymore. This side channel it's just there. It's just here because one thing this channel is optimized perfectly. Because the intro is already 3 minutes. Sorry guys. Let's talk about it at the end of the story. Anyways, let's just hop into chapter 7. Okay, I want to remind myself about this. Anyways, let's hop into chapter 7. The last thing I remember, I don't know, was Twilight visited? I think that's the only thing I remember. And the father of Citrus. I think I stood for Citrus. Anyways, let's hop right into it. Chapter 7. The main door lock clicks as it closes behind the small herd. Citrus is walking the very slow walk of a pony with too much alcohol in her. She giggles as she walks, with Cayenne on one side of her, helping to direct her as they make their way slowly down the street. It's very late night in Canterlot. The streets have very few ponies walking around through. Though the night watch is patrolling the streets, Citrus stumbles and Tim reaches over to help her. Come on, my little pony, he murmurs as he helps guide her down the street. She giggles, my little pony, she drunkenly sings. What would today's adventure be? She stumbles again. Oh, I think you'll need help. Oh, okay, I think you'll need help, Tim says as he brings his arms around her and pulls her up. He puts her over his shoulder and she continues to sing. My little pony, will there be exciting sights to see? Peyton giggles, she's wasted. Tim looks at her. Why does her dad affect her so much? She shrugs. He's a member of the Apple family. Tim frowns like Twilight's friend Applejack. Oh? Oh? This is... I know I've read this part before, but I'm like, what? This is news. Kaya nods. The same. She glances up at Citrus, who has subsided... Wait, so is this Applejack? So is she a cousin? Is Citrus a cousin to Applejack with this? Oh... interconnectings. I like it. She glances up at Citrus, who has subsided to quiet humming. She sighs. The Apple family is all over Equestria. Rodden is a part of the Apple family, and he's not nearly as down-to-earth as Applejack and her kin. He has farm roots, but he left them behind when he discovered his special talent. Tim's eyebrows rise. Kane continues, imagine perfectly aged unfermented cider or other products that usually require a lot of time to reduce. He can age that cider in seconds with his magic. He can do all of that quite a bit easier than the rest of the predominantly Earth Pony Apple family. Tim shrugs, shifting type spells, but like that you can mass produce it, but like you would need to teach a secret to other people. Tim shrugs, shifting citrus on his shoulder as he walks. She mumbles a bit before quieting down. So why is that all this important? Princess Lista mentioned then that because of her parents, she would need to tell them pretty quickly. Wait, what? Let me read that. Tim shrugs, shifting citrus on his shoulder as they walk. She mumbles a bit before quieting down. So why is all this important? Princess Celestia mentioned that because of her parents, she would need to tell them pretty quickly. You would tell them what? It's funny to me because like Tim like is part of like the royal court now as an ambassador to his species, even though he's the only one of his species. But you know, he's like friends with Luna and Twilight and Celestia, I'm assuming. You know, other than, you know, I'm pretty sure they're friends, other than them being the host, right? Ken says, well, he's been able to climb many of the social circles, even after leaving her mom's herd. Though the herd was quite small, he was the only stallion, so that herd kind of fell apart. She looks back at Citrus, who's peacefully lying on Tim's back. Her mom moved out to the coast. We see her every so often, but Rodden is the one you need to watch out for. Tim reaches into his pocket and pulls out the small card he had been given by Kibitz. You know what happened today, right? She cocks her head to the side. You told me something about visits from the royal palace. I was too busy with Citrus to fully understand. She comes over and rubs against him. I'm sorry, Tim. He smells it's okay. I'm still trying to take it all in. He offers it to her, and she pulls it from his fingers with her magic. Her horn gets brighter so she can read the text, and she looks up at him. You are an ambassador to Equestria now? He nods. That's what I've been told. Okay, so look at the requirement for that. Wait, does he have to like attend the royal hearings or something? Because I know he has to like go to the gala every year, which to me, like, if it's not on a good day, I would not want to go. Especially what happened in that other story that I remember quite vividly. That gets a rich-throated giggle from Kayan. If you had shoved that card in his face, he would have been fawning over you. She stops for a moment and makes a face. Hell, he'd probably be offering you a spot at his company. She floats the card back into his pocket. A lot of the nobles will be wanting your attention now with that little wrangling from Princess Celestia. Wrangling. She looks up at him. Not every pony that shows up here in Equestria from outside our borders can become an ambassador, and even with you being the only human, that wouldn't automatically qualify you for it. You must have made a good impression on the princess for her to grant that to you. She looks up at him, then uses a hoof to push on his thigh gently. You're blushing. In response, his blush deepens. She moves over and rubs up against him again. It just shows how good a stallion you are. Hey, he's just a good man. Like, he's just a good-natured human, alright? Is that so hard to believe? Like, come on. Unlike that rotten apple, dude. Like, come on. Tim looks down the softly lit street. Two ponies in armor are walking towards them. Kayan notices them as well. Good morning, she says to the guardsman as they get close. Why are you carrying that pony when the mayor gets close to him, Tim? Is that a problem? Like, what? Oh, it's nighttime, so who knows? Kayan moves between the two. It's alright. She's had a bit too much to drink. We're taking our herd mate home. Home, yeah. The guard's mayor snorts. Herding with that odd creature? Kayan bristles. You are royal guards, and you don't know about him? The first guardsman turns on Kayan. We are rarely in the castle. We have a job to do. It's quite alright, my little ponies, comes a new voice, getting the guards to freeze for a moment. Then both turn around and immediately bow. Princess Luna comes forward. How goes the night, my faithful guards? It's fucking Luna, bros. Damn it. Alright. That F-word, F-bomb was 10 minutes in. Hopefully that doesn't count as a demonetized. But it's Luna. I love her. Love her. The first guardsman steps forward. Princess Luna, we were just investigating when we saw a pony being carried by an unknown non-equestrian. She looks back at him. We were concerned we had a pony napping situation on our hooves. Princess Luna arches an eyebrow. With another pony walking with him? Yeah, like... The guard rubs the back of her neck with the hoof. We were just finding out what was going on. Princess Luna huffs quietly. On your way... On your way, young Timothy. Here's an ambassador from the kingdom of Earth. This is the herd. Wait, damn it. I wish I had the voices for these guys. I swear, but I'm not that talented, Sally. Princess Luna huffs quietly. On your way, young Timothy. Here's an ambassador from the kingdom of Earth, and this is the herd he has joined. Everything is quite alright here. Tim watches as the guards make quick apologies and canter off, both of the large earth ponies tossing glances over their withers back at him as they make their escape. Princess Luna giggles softly as she turns to Tim. It is rather late for you to be out. He nods. Rod and Apple showed up and got Citrus all worked up. Princess Luna says, I know of some of the difficulties there. Rodden wants her to get into a herd befitting his status, she sighs. Keeping his eye on the prize and having a daughter in a noble herd would certainly help his standing with the other nobles in Canterlot. He looks at her, but not with you? Luna smiles, of course not. While many of the nobles do not try to curry favor with the crown, they have their own affairs to tend to. We don't really worry about the nobility of Canterlot, or of any part of Equestria, to be honest. So long as they tend to their duties and treat the citizens under their care fairly, my sister and I do not interfere in the day-to-day lives of our little ponies. The only pony that feels the need can petition us for a decision. He looks down at Kay and it's worked quite well for thousands of years, Tim. Citrus starts to squirm a little on his shoulder. He brings her weight a bit closer and rubs the top of her head from him. It's very different from what we had back home. Luna smiles. They've talked about the government back home. He never joined a party, never really cared about politics, so he could basically only tell them what he remembered from high school. She turns and gestures. You're heading home, correct? A man of my esteem, don't care about the politics. I love this man already. No, I'm sort of like conditionally made to love the main character because, I need to be in their mindset and all that. But yes, somebody not caring about politics is such a thing I love. I'm not sure how this works in, the nobility space in this world. Tim is literally just friends with the princesses at this point. Like, I know they're watching over him, but at the same time, I think Tim just considers them as friends. Tim nods as they start walking. Princess Luna falls in next to them as they walk. She keeps an eye on Tim. Are you okay carrying her? Why not? He shifts a shoulder. She's not tiny. She has some weight to her, but not all that bad. He smiles. Nah, I've got her. He hugs her tighter. Feels good to help her. That gets a knowing smile from Luna as she looks down to address Kane. Are you getting to know the new stallion in your herd? Kane takes a long time to answer. She looks up at Luna, then up at Tim. After a few moments, her face colors. We are still figuring that out, princess. As is natural. He's been in your home for less than 2 days. Damn, it's been 3 days. I didn't realize. It's chapter 7. It's been 3 days. Wow. She looks up at him. I feel like I'm going on tangents a lot, sorry. She looks up at him. She looks up at Tim. I can see what Citrus loves about him, she says, almost too quietly to hear. She flicks her ears back and forth. He has a good heart, and he's fiercely loyal. She looks up at Citrus, who is snoring softly on his shoulder. And he really loves Citrus. She looks down. I'm finding that I hope I am deserving of that love. That gets Tim to stop. Both other ponies stop as well. Kane's face a mask of confusion. Tim gestures with his shoulder at Princess Luna, whose horn lights and Citrus is drawn carefully off of him. He smiles at Luna thankfully and kneels down to Kane. Don't say that, Kane. I can see how Citrus feels about you. I'm paying attention. He puts a hand on her cheek and gently wipes a tear away. I've been in your world for a year. I've known Citrus for a long time while I was sailing, but I have learned quite a bit in my time here. And since Citrus wanted me in your herd, I've had to think long and hard. You mentioned that Citrus would be our lead mare, right? She nods. He rubs her ear gently. That means that you trust her to lead us, to make the best decisions for us, and we should place our faith in her in making the decisions for the herd. Okay, nods. You've been listening to Twilight, haven't you? He smiles. Yes, I have, and I've been listening to Citrus as well. He leans forward and nuzzles her cheek softly, getting a bright blush from her. She thinks we can work it out together, and I trust her in that. That means that what I feel to her applies to you as well. What I feel for her applies to you as well. She looks up at him. Really? He nods, and with a happy squeal, she jumps at him, wrapping her forehooves around his neck. She looks into his eyes for a long moment, then she kisses him. He finds his eyes closing as her tongue invades his mouth. Their tongues wrestle for time immemorial. When they finally part, she takes a look at Princess Luna and squeaks, backing away from Tim quickly. Sorry, princess. Yeah, you just PDA'd in front of the princess. How do you feel about that? Huh? How do you feel? I'm out of water. I love that. Princess Luna floats Citrus back to Tim. It's quite alright, Kane. I understand the feeling. They continue walking, and after Luna looks at Tim. Are you planning on keeping the herd small, just you and these two? Tim shakes his head. Citrus has an idea of a couple more. One more stallion she was thinking of. She said she wants foals someday. Shorter than our joy of life, Tim. Well, Twilight was quite Considering our genetics are too different for humans and ponies to interbreed, he looks down. Though I don't know about being a dad. Luna giggles. You never know where magic is involved, and I, for one, believe you would be a good father. She brightens. This is your building, is it not? Tim looks up. Yeah. Then I shall bid you good night. She nods at him and walks off. The mists of the night envelop her, and in moments she's gone. Tim looks down at Kayan, who smirks. Yeah, she does that. One advantage of being an alicorn. It's not very long until Tim is putting Citrus into the bed. He moves up to kiss her on her forehead, right next to her horn, and her eyes snap open. Her forelegs snake out, and she grabs onto his arm. Tim, she breathes gently. He rubs her cheek with his free hand. She snuggles into his hand. Don't leave me. He looks at Kane, who is using her magic to pick the ribbon out of Citrus's tail. It's time for sleep. Citrus huffs. You promised. Wait, what did she promise? What did she promise? What did he promise her? His eyebrows rise as her cheeks color. Citrus, you are more than a little drunk. You are in no shape to. She growls. I know I'm way too drunk, but I want you and Kayan too. Tim freezes. I said team. Tim freezes, looking at Kayan, whose magic has sputtered, dropping Citrus's bow to the bed. He looks down at Citrus. Don't you want to be sober enough to enjoy that too? Citrus shakes her head. No, the sooner the better. I want you to show her the love you showed me. She flicks her tail from side to side, please. Ah, you little naughty girl. It looks at Kayan, whose face has gone beet red. Through her tail is fanning back and forth. The smell of the room starting to gain a spicy musk. Kayan ducks her head. It can wait until tomorrow, Citrus. That gets a giggle from Citrus. Yes, we can all enjoy each other tomorrow morning, but I want you to do it now. Kayan moves over and nuzzles Citrus' cheek. Citrus, it's fine, we can wait. Citrus rolls over and heaves herself onto her hooves and wavers as she's standing up. I hear some of your conversation with the princess. She looks at Tim. You said you trusted my decisions. That doesn't mean when you're drunk. It's my personal opinion when it comes to dating girls. Tim glances at Kayan, who is sitting down, apparently trying to control her tail, which is wiggling underneath her. Then back at Citrus. Of course I do, but nothing, Citrus interrupts. I may be very, she blurps softly, drunk. She shakes her head and brings a hoof up to her temple. Ow, she breathes heavily for a moment, but I want you to show her. She narrows her eyes. Please, Tim. She turns her head to Kayan. Please, Kayan. Bruh. Tim sits on the bed and moves over to lay next to Citrus, who he gathers into his arms. Citrus, are you sure? She frowns. If I wasn't sure, I wouldn't be asking, Tim. You made me feel wonderful. I wish every pony had a first time as good as ours, but I know for certain that I want you and Kayan to have sex. Woo! Kayan moves over and lies down next to Tim. Citrus, I'm fine right now. We can wait until tomorrow. Citrus growls again, Kayan. After I told you how wonderful Tim was, you said you were curious. Her face spreads in an evil grin. Well, it's time for your curiosity to be satisfied. Oh my god, why are people yelling behind me, dude? I know they're kids, but come on. She sighs and looks at Tim. Well, our lead mare says she wants to watch us. What do you think? He shrugs, looking at Citrus. I guess I'm up if you are. He feels pressure on his pants and looks down. His crotch is glowing with a flickering rose-colored aura. Citrus giggles. You aren't up yet. We need to fix that. That magic shifts to his shirt, popping the buttons off the shirt as it's ripped open. Come on, Tim. Let Kayan see you. Tim looks at Kayan, who's gotten very still. He sighs softly. Yet another shirt that is going to need some repairs. Wait, I just realized, like, Luna and Tim had a connection there. They're friends, yeah. I know we're in the bedroom and, about to have some fun time. But, like, Luna got the gist of what Tim wanted her to do. And, she did it. I'm like, friendship right there. Okay. It's my bad for stopping there. Tim looks at Kayan, who's gone very still. He sighs softly. Yet another shirt that is going to need some repairs. He takes it off and unbuckles the black fake leather belt. It's always awkward taking off his clothes with someone else there. He closes his eyes as he works. First the pants make it to the floor, then his boxers join them. He turns around and looks. Kayan is there, her tail flagging, her mare hood winking as she lowers her front and looks back at him. I'm ready, she says softly and closing her eyes. You know what I thought about? If you need an identification, like the guards didn't identify Tim right now, but like if you need an ID, will the herd need to be part of that like description on your like details? Like you're part of this herd, but like it's like I guess will this be like the blush herd? Kind of interesting to me. Anyways, he looks over at Citrus, who's giggling as he moves over to Kay, and he looks at her for a long time, watching her wink. She suddenly has seemed to be thinking about sex. Her arousal is leaking down her legs as her clit winks in and out. The spicy smell is certainly more pronounced now. He looks at Citrus, who nods with a big smile. Kay, on the other hand, huffs. Come on, mount me already. He looks down. He's gone from completely flaccid to full mass in record time, her smell affecting him strongly. He reaches his hands out and puts them on Kane's cutie marks, getting a loud moan from the mare and an extended wink from her marehood. Then he leans down and catches her clit with his lips, his tongue running along it. Running along it, tasting her. That gets a yelp from Kane, who jerks and spins around. What the hell are you doing? Told ya, Citrus slurs. He's not like other stallions. Your first time isn't going to be in and out and done. She giggles and rolls onto her back. You are in for a treat. Tim looks at Citrus and at Kayan. Did I do something wrong? Kayan looks at him, her eyes wide, then she shakes her. No, Tim, She looks at Citrus, who is humming happily, laying on her back, and then back at Tim. A small smile coming to her face. You just surprised me, that's all. Normally a stallion would just mount me like that. We'd have quick sex, and Citrus would be satisfied. Tim frowns. Quick sex? Quick sex? Why would we want sex to be quick? I like what Tim's the one questioning that. She sits down with an audible squishing sound. The blankets are going to have to be washed in the morning. Tim thinks she takes forever to search for the right words. That's how it goes with stallions. Normally with mares, we would do what you just did. I mean, I don't get me wrong. The feeling of a stallion entering you is like nothing else. She glances down at his memory, which is still throbbing between his legs, and shudders a bit. But I've never had a stallion use his mouth on me. That gets a snort from Citrus, and Tim smiles. What do you want, Kay? And I'm up for anything if you are. She looks over at Citrus. Citrus said you did that with her, but I thought she was pulling my horn, but I guess you actually did it. She thinks for a moment. Do you like how I taste? Tim nods. Different than Citrus, more spicy than sweet, but yummy. He smacks his lips, getting her to flinch and blush even deeper. Kane shrugs. Well, if you were up for anything, I guess I am too. I love this. It's so cute. It's so cute. Weird. Like I'm not even sure if this is supposed to turn you on. It's just weird and cute. That gets a smile from Tim and giggle from Citrus. Tim gestures to her. Well, we can start with how you were and work from there. What? Kane's ears flick as she once again turns around, presenting her plot to him. Tim finds he's getting more into it. It could be how she smells, which is making his thoughts get fuzzy from time to time. He again rubs his hands on Kane's cutie marks, enjoying her moans. He watches her wink and finally runs his tongue up her lips, tasting her. She flinches a bit as her moans get louder. That gets him smiling as he brings a hand up and runs a fingertip on her extended clit. Her forelegs collapse, depositing her head onto the pillow. As he lets his tongue invade her marehood, her body continues to shudder as her marehood gushes more of her arousal. After a moment, he runs his hands along the forward part of her leg, along her hip, and just like with Citrus, she shudders in pleasure. Her tail flagging straight up, he keeps running a hand along the tender flesh as she flips over to lie on his back on the bed. Shifting to have his head between her spread her rear hooves, Tim puts his hands on her hips, pulling towards him. She nearly collapses onto him, but now he has access to her teats. Slowly he brings a nipple into his mouth, whirling it around with his tongue. Both of his hands are caressing her cutie marks, and he enjoys the feeling of her entire body twitching in pleasure. He reaches up and gets his hands around her barrel, lifting her off the bed and bringing her onto his chest. Her tail is now thrashing back and forth over his erection, giving him a little burst of pleasure as he cups her cheeks. He brings her face down to his knee, and kisses her, his tongue invading her mouth. After a few moments, she starts kissing him back. He lets his hands roam all over her body, enjoying the soft fur. She doesn't seem to favor running her tongue along his teeth, the way Citrus does. Kane concentrates on attempting to subdue his own tongue. He fights back, on their tongues writhe between the both of their mouths as they both fight for dominance. He reaches the back and finds the moisture and heat of her marehood. He slips a finger in and rubs it on the inner wall there, getting her tongue to lose coordination. As her breathing becomes stuttered, he opens his eyes and looks at her horn, which is glowing brightly, throwing sparks all over. He brings his other hand down and starts playing with her clit. Her horn glowing even brighter. She pulls away from the kiss as her eyes close tightly. Just a few minutes has her on the edge. He reaches up with his teeth, since his hands are occupied, and bites her ear. Gently, that gets her breathing to stop for a moment as sparks shoot from her horn as the shudders in his grasp, the entire room lighting up brightly as she silently climaxes. After several seconds, she collapses onto his chest, panting as she pulls away from his hands. Her eyes open and very slowly focus on his, She brings up a hoof and uses a fetlock to stroke his cheek. Wow, she's able to say softly. I made a lot more noises the first time, said she slurs softly, lying on her side, her own horn flickering softly. That gets a blush from Kane. I've never been loud. I had a big herd growing up. Such a giggles. He's good, isn't he? Kane nods. I could pass out right now. She looks at him. We haven't finished yet, right? He shakes his head, her eyes widen. You mean... Kane nods. I could pass out right now. She looks at him. You haven't finished yet, right? He shakes his head, her eyes widen. You mean we aren't done? He smells no, not unless you wanted to be done. Bro. It's funny. I love that. I love with all these fics, it's always like the human has like the more stamina, more like capacity to like just go ham. In, you know, slang terms. He just goes, let's do it. She smirks. Not on your life, love. She moves forward and kisses him strongly, her tongue invading his mouth. She moans softly as his hands roam along her body. He takes the time to slowly run his fingers along her spine, flinging the bones through her fur. He runs his sensitive fingertips down her barrel, enjoying the feel of her rapid breathing as he moves his hands under her belly to play with her teats. As he does so, her body starts to shudder. He's able to open his eyes to see her horn glowing brightly. After a moment, she pulls away and looks at him intently. I want you inside of me now, she's able to pant. He levers himself up as she turns again to present her plot to him. Weak and furiously, he smiles. You wish it is my command, love. He lines up and notices a bit of a problem with him on his knees. She's actually too tall for him to enter her comfortably. He looks around frantically, and apparently Cetris has been paying attention. 2 large pillows fall over towards him. He gathers them and puts them on the bed right behind Kane's hooves and put his knees on the pillows. That gets a grin just enough. He grabs Kane's hips and rubs her cuticles for a moment. Come on, please, Kane moans as he teases her entrance with the tip of his penis. He looks over at Cetris, who is watching intently, a soft smile on her face. He smiles at Cetris as he slowly enters Kane, who moans and shudders as he does. He has to close his eyes. The feeling of her strong walls trying to suck him in overwhelms everything as he is tilted all the way inside. Then he starts to move slowly, nearly pulling all the way out before pushing slowly in. The feel of her is nearly overwhelming as he increases his pace. Before too long, he's pistoning into her frantically, just relishing the feeling. A soft slurping sound and more moaning gains his attention. He finally opens his eyes to see that Cetris has edged her way over to Kane and is kissing Kane. Her hooves around Kane's neck, watching the two of them kiss, nearly drives him over the edge. He reaches out one hand and fumbles around a bit. Winning his hand along Cetris' thigh, she sighs and spreads her legs after his touch. She's easily as wet as Kane is. He plays with her own weakening slit as she starts to moan. Kane pulls suddenly away from Cetris as her entire body spasms, getting a shocked gasp from Tim. Her horn again emits fireworks, bright sparks that fly everywhere. She clamps down on him as her walls pulsate, pushing him over the edge. She groans loudly as he comes strongly. His entire body vibrates as he pumps his seed into her. Time stops as his entire consciousness is focused on the feelings originating in his groin and flashing like lightning throughout his entire body. Finally, it's done, and he collapses onto her back, paddling. She looks back at him with a knowing smile. Her horn lights, and she gently brings him to lie between them on his back. He wraps an arm around her and brings her close as her horn quiets and she snuggles up against him. On his other side, Cetris wraps a hoof around him and also snugs close to him, her horn lighting and bringing up the comforter to cover them all. She giggles softly. That looked pretty good. He fights to slow his breathing. His heart is pounding in his chest. I feel as though I've run 20 miles. I enjoyed every step. He's able to pant. Kane giggles as she runs her tongue along his ear. You were spectacular, love. He squeezes her closer. So are you. He squeezes both of them tightly to him. I'm the luckiest human in existence. Alright, boys. It's not the end, but that's the end of the present time. I'm assuming this is the past time on Tim's little accident that happened. Let's start from there. Sir, Tim shifts the bed at the sound. Sir, we've landed. It's time to deplane, unless your ticket is to Tokyo. That gets Tim's eyes to open. He looks around. There are a few others on the plane, gathering their bags and moving their way down the aisles. He looks up at the steward that has just shaken him gently. Huh? The steward smiles. Welcome to San Francisco. Tim leans forward, looking around. Was it all a dream? Equestria, Cetris, Kane? More than a year in a dream. He shakes his head as he stands up. Thank you. That's all he's able to say. He pulls his phone out of his pocket and powers it on. As he boots up He opens the overhead bin and pulls out his laptop bag. He shakes his head softly as he walks up the jetway. This isn't impossible, he mutters softly. Everything seems normal to him as he walks through the terminal, gets his bags from the carousel, and heads up to get a cab. In big cities, it's normal for cabs to hang around looking for fares, so he sits down and consults his phone for the address to give to the driver. Tim reaches under his shirt, feeling his chest. The scars that he's had to live with for much of the last year to his mind are gone. Fremont, California is his destination today. He's going to fill out the final paperwork for the job and pick up the keys for his truck. The cab drops him off in front of a mobile building. He looks at the logo on the side and climbs the stairs to open the door. "Good afternoon," says the receptionist. That gets him to shake his head. She feels familiar. He's able to smile. "Tim alone. I'm a new hire, a driver?" She nods. "Yeah." She opens a drawer and rummages around. "Here's your paperwork, your keys, and we've got a temporary housing set up for you." He stands up and glances out the window. The cab is sitting there. It only takes a few minutes to sign the sheets of paper as they are presented to him. She gives him a flirty smile as he puts his hands on the door. "Thanks, Ken," he says absently as he heads out into the California sun. The cab drops him off at an apartment complex and he steps his car to pay for it. He sighs as he shoulders his laptop case and shoulder bag, pulling the suitcase behind him as he walks. "Hey, let go of me," comes a very familiar voice. "Citrus?" Tim whispers all his luggage ends up on the ground as he sprints around the side of the building. He skids to a stop. Citrus is there with a long catch-pole rope around her neck. Two men in uniforms are there. With the other end of the catch-pole, the other is holding. "Hey, you get away from her," Tim shouts. The other officer looks up at her. "Mind your own business, son." Tim blinks. That sounds like rotten apple. He lowers what he's holding over Citrus's face. He works on the buckles in the back, and she gets a muzzle over her face. She looks at Tim plaintively as the officer tightens the muzzle. He looks up at her. "It's a dangerous animal. We're taking it where it belongs." He wants to... Don't worry, we'll make it quick." "No." "Don't worry, we'll make it quick." "No." If she was more docile, she might have been used as a breeder, but one of the drug companies, she's pretty useless. She's not useless. With another thought, Tim runs at the man, lowering his shoulder to get the man in the gut. Tim gasps as his eyes open to the dark room. Citrus is peacefully sleeping next to him. King, on the other side, Tim gasps as his that's a random ass dream, man. I remember this part. It was so weird. Tim gasps as his eyes up into a dark room. Citrus is peacefully sleeping next to him. King, on the other side, he brings Citrus a bit closer and kisses the tip of her horn. She smiles softly and snuggles into him, whispering his name. As she settles back into his peaceful slumber, he smiles. It was just a dream. He closes his eyes once more, enjoying the feel of both girls next to him. The end. I don't know what that ending was. I guess it's like a fear that this is all a dream. Also, I'm not sure if in reality, back in the old world, we would have talking ponies as normal animals. Since they're sentient and all of that. We probably wouldn't treat them as animals. Just saying. Anyway, guys. Thank you guys for watching, listening. Thank you guys, do. I was going to say something about search engine optimization for the other channel, but that's for the other channel. Doesn't need to be mentioned here. Anyways, guys. Thank you guys for watching, listening. Thank you guys, do. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.